Is that your updates on the Jack Smith investigation to Donald Trump? Yeah, that's one of those 90 to 100 charges that's coming down on him already. And he's fighting it in every direction that he can. So yesterday, a federal appeals court partially blocked efforts by Jack Smith to access the seized phone records of Representative Scott Perry, who apparently was involved in some form or fashion with Trump's attempt to overturn the election. So he was a key figure in that whole thing. And this is what they found out. This is from Politico. The FBI seized the device from Perry in August of 2022. So they already had his phone, but it was under a court-authorized search warrant. They had yet to access the relevant documents and communications after Perry then immediately moved to prevent it. And he cited that his legal privileges as a federal lawmaker and the authority of Congress to be free of interference from the executive branch. So because he's a congressman, he's saying you guys can't go to my phone records because it was official business trying to overturn an election. This is what MAGA does. There's more. At issue with the court's interpretation of the Constitution's speech or debate clause, which grants immunity to members of Congress from criminal proceedings that touch on their official work, that's what he went with. He's argued that much of what Smith's team has sought is protected by this constitutional provision and should be off limits. And also during that argument, a Justice Department attorney now assigned to Smith's office argued that the speech or debate protection only applies to inquiries lawmakers conduct pursuant to some formal investigation or inquiry, not those that they embark on themselves. So just because you say you want to jump into this whole thing of participating in whatever it is that you were up to, it doesn't mean that everything is protected into what it is that you should normally be doing. Again, anybody who voted for Perry here, is this part of the plan? Is this what was in his campaign ads and what he was debating for? I will make sure that I look to overturn anything that Donald Trump tells me to overturn, regardless of the legalities around it. And therefore, that's my official work. That's what he's arguing. See if it makes any sense to you. So House Democrats and Republicans, they also joined together to intervene in Perry's case, even without any knowledge of how this whole thing would work, because they're all very protective over that speech. And the whole clause they have here to protect themselves from their communications. So Democrat or Republican, they're still on the same side as this. So maybe he has a little bit of a foothold in his defense there, Ray.
Right, and I mean the fact that it's a bipartisan effort to sort of protect him is really telling about how our members of Congress that we elected that are supposed to be working for us want to protect their communications from us, because that's what it's about, right? They don't want the public to know what's going on behind closed doors. And I mean this man is directly implicated in criminal activity. I mean this goes far and beyond what is actually protected speech, because I fully understand that there are cases where the public should not necessarily be privy to certain information because it puts national security at risk. He put national security at risk by what he was doing. Having that information public isn't going to be damaging in that way. And this is not something that I think that he should have a right to privacy regarding. Absolutely not. This is something that the people need to know. And this is something that the prosecutors need to know to further their case. I mean, it's directly related to criminal proceedings. And it's disgusting to me that Democrats are jumping in to try to protect these communications.
And there's something there with that, because that was a little bit surprising as they keep talking about how the Democrats and Joe Biden's Department of Justice is coming for political opponents. Well, apparently, maybe you can highlight the time that they're actually assisting their political opponents, because it's not always about this cut and dry black and white thing that they say that it is. It's this team versus the other, and that's just the way these things work. Many times you will see Democrats go and help them out. Now, by the way, if you think about, they don't want the public to know his communications regarding this whole thing, but they want to keep telling the public what these communications were actually about and how perfect calls were and how perfect communications and interactions were. Why can't we see it, bro? They always complain about the lack of transparency with the executive branch only when Democrats are in office. But then when it comes to even representatives like Perry, we got to protect it, bro. We got to protect it. It was my official act. Mark Meadows is doing the same thing.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.